listening to LOA Recon with the Good Vibe coach Jeanette Ma, where we dissect the ins and outs and the art and science of conscious creation, all intended to amp up your manifesting game. Let's have some fun together. I think this one's going in the Tip to Self file, since this episode is inspired by my own personal experience of what I didn't do that I'm going to suggest you do. I'm going to suggest we all do in the future. Let's check the vibration before we proceed into tricky territory next time. That's all it takes, is just a couple seconds to make sure we're not engaging contrary energy. It makes all the difference as to what happens next. And I have done it both ways enough times to know the power and the value of just taking a short pause to clear out that challenging energy before proceeding. That's all we got to do. Like, if you say you read something on a friend's social media post that makes your blood boil, you know what? Maybe give it a minute before you respond. Or if you get called into HR by the big boss, that could inspire some fear. You know what? Take a couple deep breaths on your way in. It can make the difference. Or say you get a text from your favorite sweetheart that says something like, "We need to talk." Guess what? That can wait until you're feeling centered and grounded and loved, or anything better than afraid. I'm just saying, let's not go stumbling in with bad vibrations. We can clear out that crappy energy first so that we're not calling forth exactly what we don't want. That's what I didn't do when I was going through mail. Big stack of mail. Oh my gosh, here's one from the IRS. What do they want? My blood pressure went up, and I opened it with that energy. It was with the energy of fear and dread. I did not take a pause to collect myself, to smooth that out. I didn't. I opened it with hot energy, and guess what? They met me there. They matched that perfectly. It was, it was not my favorite news. And it's probably going to be fine. In fact, this could even be a money-making deal for me. But at first blush, that's not where it was. In fact, I will say this. We're not stuck with something if we do move forward with bad vibrations and we got exactly what we didn't want. We're not stuck with it. Abraham sometimes even says you can't change the past. You know what? Some of us can. Lynn McTaggart can. She's teaching people how to do it. Time's an illusion. So we can play with that stuff when we're willing to. Yes, I will agree. It's easier to create something where we don't already have evidence that it didn't go our way. Way, way easier to focus on what we want when we've still got a clean slate. And that's what I'm suggesting we do. We give ourselves a clean slate before we move forward, rather than pre-pave it with something negative and attract the exact kind of results we don't want. So it's going to be fine with my IRS letter. Like I said, so like I read it the first time, hot, super hot. And I put it down. I was like, don't do anything with that right now. We're going to let this cool off a little before we pick it up again. And then when I did, I practiced some peace and calm about it. I have done some work on this subject before, so it was easier for me to find again. And then when I reread the letter, there was a lot of good news in there. There was like a lot of things in my favor that I didn't recognize that first time around, where it just seemed bad, bad, bad. And if I had responded without coming into alignment with what was working here, this could be unfolding completely differently. So it's what I was thinking about when a friend was telling me she put a profile on Tinder right after she got dumped by someone that she adored. I was like, if you're not LOA savvy, they don't know any better. But when you are, you do not want to go online with the vibration of unloved. That is not recommended. Not recommended. Or like when, my other friend, he got an email from his boss. It was blaming him for something that went wrong. And he read that. He was dialing his boss's number. And I was like, oh, hold up. Maybe take a minute. He was LOA savvy, so he understood when I said, maybe give that a minute. Yeah, he did. It doesn't take long to activate something better, to find a way to have a different vibration flowing before we proceed. Because things don't usually go well when we walk in hot or afraid or unworthy. So when it looks like trouble, just take a couple seconds. Or it doesn't have to take long. It's however long it takes to find a couple different better thoughts. But look, if you've got time and you give it a couple hours or days if need be, just to practice the new vibration before you move forward. However long it takes to find that better feeling thought or to breathe out that hotness and fear and to let peace and calm in, it makes all the difference as to what happens next. And again, that's not to say that you can't remedy it after you're staring straight at what you don't want, but it is easier to get on a good train before you've got too much intel. Even if you get the exact same news, you're going to be better equipped to manage it. You're going to be more capable, more empowered. At a minimum, you'll perceive it in an improved way, and that attracts an improved outcome. But you might also completely alter the chain of events that unfold. It's what happened when, oh gosh, my vet called me the other day with test results, and I don't like to miss a phone call from the vet. So I could have let it go to voicemail and I could have called back later, but sometimes she's a little tricky to get on the phone. So I didn't want to miss her. So I had like 4 rings to get to the place of, and I just practiced feeling, I felt the ease. I felt the relief. I practiced the smile from the good news. That's in 4 rings. Like you didn't have a whole lot of time, but I did. I practiced that. And I was still practicing it even as we were greeting each other. And I was thanking her for calling me. And what she said wasn't my favorite thing at all. She said things I'm not even going to repeat. I couldn't even pronounce. She had some ideas about because it wasn't the easy thing. So now she's thinking some of the hard things, the things you don't want for your kitten or in your house. And because I had taken a moment to just practice, I've practiced this a lot. I've had so many conversations with the vets. I've got good practice on this one. And I heard it differently. Instead of panic, instead of like the sinking heart. I didn't have any of that. I just had this calm confidence that she didn't know what she was talking about. And I love her dearly. I love this vet so much. She's my favorite vet, my absolute favorite vet. And, no, we're not going to do it that way. And I didn't even tell her that. I didn't argue. And she was being really nice to me. She was kind of somber because, she thought we were looking at some bad stuff. She thought, don't you love how she thought we were looking at some bad stuff? We're not looking at some bad stuff. And there were some other reasons why I could land on that too, because I had gotten some opinions from some of my fellow rescue friends, and the other vet that I know had some ideas, but all of their input was way better than what I was hearing on the phone right now. So she was pretty easy for me to dismiss. And I know that comes from not having answered that or taken that call with that vibration of, I hope it's not bad sort of thought flowing. You know what I'm talking about? That's all it takes. Sometimes we maybe do need more than a minute to land on something good, but it's worth taking that time. Again, not because we can't undo it, but because it's easier if we've gotten vibrationally prepped for something good first. So the next time you're stepping into something that feels challenging or tricky, check the vibration before you take too many steps in there. All it takes is a minute or two to practice something that allows good news to unfold for you. You'll be glad that you did. Thanks for listening.